What's up, guys? This is Acid Roots. I've got a Stevie Stone album review, which is his second album for Strange Music, Two Birds, One Stone. Now, when this came out in 2013, I think it was following the buzz of his first album for Strange Music, which was Rolling Stone. Now, when I scored this album back in December, that was before I owned it, but it I think I gave it a pretty high score, at least above an 8 or an 8.5. It may have even been a 10. But between that and Chris Calico, I mean, both these guys have the capacity to drop just plain hit music that resonates with me in particular pretty well. And this is something I respect Stevie Stone's style. He is kind of almost like a ground level version of Tech Nine, and even probably a more basic version of Chris Calico. Now, I think enough people in the mainstream would know who Chris Calico is, but this is really getting into the depths of strange music. And I feel like things like Recognize, people like Recognize, the Mayday Crew, Cess Crew, and some of these other folks on strange music, they haven't really got enough. Uh, I mean, it feels as if they need more weight, folks and pandemonium concerning their releases. Now, Recognize is dropping an album in May. Tech Nine Collabos is dropping an album in April, and I'd almost guess that Stevie Stone's going to drop an album within the next year. And it's been pretty heavy the way that this year's been. Cess Crew dropped an album in February, so there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. The only problem I have with Stevie Stone's albums is it doesn't really feel like he drops singles off his projects. Like, I had a hard time figuring out what the singles were from Rolling Stone. Now, the difference with rap is the whole thing is most people should feel comfortable listening to more than just the singles. I would normally assume that most people find like 6 to 8 songs off of their 15, 16 song albums and just jam out to those. And that's what I did with Rolling Stone, and that's what I expected to do with Two Birds, One Stone, this album. And it pretty much worked. I mean, this album is basically going to get a 10 because out of 16 songs, I wound up liking a. or out of 15 songs, I wound up liking 12. So somehow I think I'm missing a song, but yeah, there's probably one song that I didn't write down, but I also like. So, but beyond that, this album basically has it. So let's just get to it. The song that I think is going to catch a lot of attention is the song "The Baptism," or not. The song I think has caught a lot of attention is the song "The Baptism" with Tech Nine and Ritz. Tech Nine is probably the most high profile artist on here, and I usually look forward when I see these strange music releases to find the stuff that Tech Nine did, but we did one better, and we brought white rapper and fairly avid rapper Ritz on there. And this is good because this 2013 was the year that he came out, so he basically had a guest verse within a few months. So there's that. Jaron Benton is on here from Funk Volume, or the old Funk Volume. Unfortunately, this is one of the worst songs on the album in terms of production. If you're just looking for a verse from Jaron, you might be satisfied, but it's just getting tougher to really support him just because his releases are kind of going indie and his albums are so expensive. Like, really, to get My Grandma's Basement, you have to pay $55 for it on Amazon. And it's just, it's the main reason. And his second album is kind of obscure, without Hobson. It's just been strange, but regardless, that's an extra song. Cut Calhoun has an appearance, and it's a pretty good guest appearance along with Brother Lynch. They're both on the hit song Hush, which actually doesn't sound like horrorcore, but I'm glad. It pretty much sounds like a pretty outgoing song. And yeah, I think it's an attention getter. It's one of the ones I would go to first in that series of hits that I was explaining. If you Chris Calico actually drops a couple verses on here. He shows up more than Tech N9ne, and that's good because we needed the Strange Music crew. I think Stevie Stone operates pretty well with guests. But I would have liked to have seen him do what Waka Flocka and Cut Calhoun do, which is just get some no name rappers, throw them on there, just make him look slicker. Just show his relevance and that sort of thing. I mean, obviously, it kind of is wishy-washy just because how many people like these folks that don't even have Wikipedia pages. But it I do think maybe just 2 or 3 more guests would have helped this project out. And so Recognize and Burns from Mayday show up on the song Indigo, which that one is kind of a real Sly song. I didn't expect that style from a rap song. It just kind of feels like a sunset evening type song, but in my opinion, but these are just a few. So obviously I'm going to list the songs that you need to hear. So they are The Baptism, Two Birds, One Stone, The Reason, Indigo, Hush, Get Out My Face, In My Zone, Phases, She Go, Let It Beat, and Gravedigger. All of these, pretty much each one of these has great production. There's some songs for the ladies and Boomerang, Boo Thang, and She Go. So he does kind of cover that. Chris Calico has some verses on here. There's some thumping songs. There's some car songs like The Reason and Get Out My Face and Let It Beat. And, we've got some good guest features from Cut Calhoun, Tech N9ne, Ritz, and Brother Lynch. And then Mayday kind of shows up, even though I don't really know their voices by heart right now. So, just among all this, I'm still trying to figure out that last song that I didn't like. I can't seem to find it. Well, we're just gonna move on. There's one song that I must have omitted. So me liking 11 out of 15. It still feels like there's one extra one, but I'm just gonna say I like that one also. So I think I pretty much did. So as far as the score, it's gonna get a 10. And can this record be topped? I think the answer is not really. The only thing it could have used is maybe a couple videos and a single and a little bit more guests. We could have had Yelawolf on the hook again like last time, or put Big Scoob on there, messed with Hobson again, some of these things. But the social score, I mean, that's kind of the impact of it. I mean, it shouldn't take long for I know this album is 4 years old, but just supposing some folks haven't heard it, it should not take very long to figure out that this album is good. So I'm going to give it an 8 social, just because there was no single and it needed one. But apart from that, the social score means how well it plays around your friends. The future Stevie Stone should be due for an album, like I said, so we just gotta wait for it. For now, we're gonna get Tech N9ne collabos and Recognize. Subscribe for more fun.